was going to sleep somewhere at night in the open, this is where I'd sleep. We're underneath a pine tree, 2 pine trees together. Just over there is a sheep field, and I have a theory that they hang around near the sheep fields in springtime and eat the afterbirth. Sorry if that grosses people out, but I know that Igor Burstev also advocates that theory, hypothesis, whatever we call it. So we decided we'd come and have a look in here today. This is a tract of land between a track that we walk on that's about 100 metres behind me, going through a wood called Bois Prieuré, Priory Wood. And then the other track that I walk on is down the other side of that field. And this is kind of a bit of a no man's land in between, where not many humans go, if any. So we decided we'd come and take a look. As we were coming in, we've seen a few interesting things. So I'll keep you posted what's happening. So that's where I just was, underneath that tree. But what I wanted to show you was, look at all the ferns and the thick vegetation all around that's difficult to get through. And then suddenly we have this open area. We've got another cross over there, like the one behind me, just low down, not big ones, not high up in the air. And then this nice open area. And Rob was looking at it and he thinks it is ridge and furrow. Now, ridge and furrow is the medieval method of agriculture. So they make a ridge and a furrow, and a ridge and a furrow, and they grow their crops along the ridges, and they walk through the furrows, and then they can weed their crops, and the crops get the benefit of the most soil because it's piled up. It's quite an interesting little collection there. So we're just going to continue walking this little patch of no man's land. Now, when we're talking about circuit boards and interconnected branches and logs lying on the floor, this area is quite interesting. So we have a leaning tree. It's not a leaner, it is an actual tree that's alive. And then that connects to that. Running along next to it is this one that goes down there. Then we've got another one connected to that one that touches that one that is connected over there. Those come up here. Now, is this defining some kind of space, room, seating areas? There's quite a dip there where it looks like something may have been sitting, or it may just be where the water gathers. But there's some quite interesting bits of sticks on the ground, but there are trees all above us, so there's no reason why they couldn't have just fallen down, and there's no reason why these bigger ones didn't just fall down. But it looks different from the rest of the wood around us. See, it's green, it's full of ferns, it's thick, it's hard to get through, and then suddenly you have this clearing. Now, it could be that this has been farmed more recently than medieval times with the ridge and furrow. Maybe somebody's had sheep or wild boar or pigs or something on here, I don't know. But it's just an interesting thing, the change between the two types of ground, and the fact that under a lot of the trees you seem to see this disturbed ground again, it could be just wild boar. We'll carry on having a look. Okay, so Rob, as usual, has found something extremely interesting. So first he found this, and he thought it was growing. So he walked towards it, but of course when he got there, look what's at the bottom of it. And now surely that is not natural. Why is that standing on there in that collection of sticks?
Yeah, like an A, isn't it?
And it does look like an A-glyph. What on earth does it mean? And look at all the ground disturbed under here. Now, I don't think this is wild boar, because they, as we've said before, they dig deeper. And this is very much on the surface.
Blue there. Or scat, to say you guys would say in
Scat.
America. But they wouldn't. I don't know. Anyway, a bit of scat there.
We don't know what scat it is, though.
No.
Because we're not poo experts. Look at those two together there. I don't know. And look. And then two more and one across. I don't know. Is it just stuff fallen down? See? I don't know. And there's another one. All underneath this tree. What the heck? Look, this has obviously been walked on. We've said this so many times. Animals hop over these logs. They don't stand on them. So, who walks on a log like that so that it gets destroyed apart from humans? Well, maybe we get a lot of humans in here. Just because we're here today and there's nobody here doesn't mean to say you don't have 100 people picnicking here every Tuesday when I'm not here. Just don't know. What an interesting place, as usual. Now, for those of you who are interested in history, here's your ridge and furrow. There's a ridge, there's a furrow, there's a ridge, there's a furrow, there's a ridge. Now, once these are in the landscape, they're very, very hard to get rid of. And even when the land's been ploughed from the air and with LiDAR, you can see that it used to be a ridge and furrow piece of land. So it does mean that there's been active here with agriculture since, 1400s. I just found an interesting ground stick. Let me get a bit closer, Rob, before you pull it out. Okay, go. There, look. Now, has that just fallen out of a tree and landed in there? Normally, we don't find them with branches,
Yeah.
What are they called? Twigs, branches, twigs sticking off the side. But look where we are. Suddenly, we've come to another sort of wallowy looking area, for want of a better word. And it's really interesting. Big things on the floor, which are could be just fallen down trees. Another one across there, look. But you can so easily imagine with all this canopy, it's a great place to hide out. Sorry, I nearly fell over then. Really interesting. I find that quite interesting. That's been bent over and broken, and then it's continued to grow from those two spurs. But it makes like a double cross, and in the landscape it stands out really clearly. So, is it possible that these logs have been placed in these positions? Look, here's a bit of evidence of man. There's some nasty plastic there. So obviously somebody's been in here at some point. trying to see if I can see any footprints. We never seem to find any. A couple we found that are like maybe, possibly, but nothing ever really definitive. Let's go and see what Rob's got. Okay, Rob, tell us about this old bottle.
Don't know what it is. It's plain. There's a little bit of something on the bottom there. And it says Depose. Model Depose.
I have a feeling that Depose means that you can take it back and get money on it.
13, but it's not a screw top. It looks like a cork. Well, it could be. I don't know, maybe.
If it's not a screw top, does that mean it's older?
Yeah, like 1915
or
something like that.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so we've just found this. It's fairly fresh break, and it's laying through that Y shape, of course. There's a bit of old plastic there from humans, and the old leaves are here, and it's dying. But have a look round. It's not from that tree because it's facing the wrong way. Yeah. The end would be over there. This and
these two here are pines.
These two here are pines.
They're pines.
So why is that there? Can you see a tree, Rob, that has come from?
No.
Neither can I.
But also, it wouldn't have fallen that way because it couldn't have got through all this.
Right, so let's just clarify that.
Right. This end here, which would be the end,
that was attached to the tree.
Yeah. Well, if it had fallen down off a tree over there.
Yes.
Then has it got past all this?
All these branches.
All these branches.
Yeah, because none of them are broken, are they?
And it's quite fresh, so it looks like it's gone in there and then been moved this way to go over.
Right, so you think it may have landed over there and then something or somebody has pulled it backwards and slotted it through there to make it. I know it does look fresh.
Yeah, it's fresh, definitely fresh.
But it makes it look then from a distance like a floating branch.
I know, but also look at the growth on it.
Right.
It's got that weird
green lichen.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Where's the green lichen around
here?
I know. There's none. There's not a single tree in here. We've got that green lichen on it.
Where's it come from? That is so weird.
Well spotted, Deb.
I spotted that one. I should have a gold star for this. After, 8 years, I'm getting good at it. And look at all this disturbed ground again. Who does this? Who clears? Who clears a patch of ground? Come on, tell me. Who clears a patch of ground? There's no animals that do it. So apart from people, I don't know, it makes no sense to me. There's the end of that log again. Okay. I'll just film this little doorway for Mark Abel. Does somebody live in there? I wonder. If I knocked on there, would it open and let me in? Look, it's in an enormous oak tree. When I was little, I always used to wonder if things lived in there. These huge mushrooms. See, there's absolutely no shortage of food here. No shortage of food at all. Look at this gorgeous field. So that's where we've just been. Crossing this field and one of the green tracks that we follow is just on the other side of this little bit of wood. But look at that. Isn't that absolutely perfect? Loads of food here. Deer, hare, rabbit, foxes, fish, birds. Plenty to eat. And all manner of mushrooms, types of fungi, lichen, mosses. I think we're going through this fence here. Okay, so we found another ground stick. We're on a track. Now I think it's interesting because I do think these ground sticks mark trackways from what I've seen in Australia and from what we've found, but you know that it's not evidence at all. But look, there it is. It was broken, but Rob saw the bottom of it and it's poked in the ground. So as the Aussies told us, they've done experiments and they can't make these sticks stick in the ground without a lot of force, and it must be the same here. It's the same land, it's the same kind of forest.
Bouncy too.
I know, the ground is soft and bouncy. You think that you could drop them and they'd poke in, but they don't. So let's see if we can find any more of them. I noticed these earlier on when we were walking the dogs before we came back. There's 3 parallels leaning up against an old log that just goes off over the ditch. But then when you look behind there, what I thought was interesting was there was a floating stick and a leaner just behind them, and that I thought was quite interesting. Now, just take a look at that. That is just leaning in there. There's a massive canopy above it, which is all well and good if that was the same species as this big tree, but it isn't. That's a different species to the tree that's above it. So how does that get there? Is that saying that whoever comes along here should go that way? Over there. Oh, there's quite an interesting little bit behind it. I mean, this is quite a deep ditch, so this will have water in it a lot of times of the year. So is that what the stick is saying? Here be water? I don't know. So here we are, back to the Land Rover, back to the beginning. But what I find most interesting of all, out of all the stuff we've just seen, is the fact that the track that we follow is all blocked off by trees, and we had to go round it to be able to get onto the track to go where we've just been filming. Now, is that just a coincidence? Did those trees just happen to fall over? How many times have we heard about tracks being blocked off